Hello to everyone out there. Today is a very special day. My song "Due to You" will be released. I mean, not now, but for you, yes, it's already out. First link in the description if you want to go. Check it out, support it, share it with your friends, like it, and just listen to it a bunch of times. Very important, listen to it from start to finish without skipping. That's how the Spotify algorithm works. You know the deal. But yeah, since we're today or tomorrow or like it's complicated. I'm filming this obviously always one day before you see it. We are celebrating the release. And there's a tradition here on this channel to do this by actually sharing how I make the song. Open up Logic, show you the entire project, every little bit in it.
You got me high, higher than the mountaintop. You got me flying tonight.
At the very beginning of this song, all I had was a very rough top line by the singer and songwriter. I got here layer for third chorus lower, for example.
Higher than the mountaintop. You got me flying tonight. You got me flying tonight.
Those were like process demo stems by the singer, but then at the end we got like everything dry to be able to do whatever we want with it. And that Logic project is actually 1 year old. I started like with jamming to the song, putting the vocals in place, playing around with like certain sounds, chords, sound selection, drums and that kind of stuff. Let me maybe get rid of the MacBook fan. It's warm, I have to admit. It's really warm in here. Really annoying. I can't wait for Apple to build their own processors that will make sure that we'll not have to deal with this kind of shit anymore. So this project right here, just 21 tracks. That was like the initial idea for the song. The first time the vocal and like my ideas, instrumental came together. And it sounds a little different, a lot less polished, but you can already imagine like the final song. Let me play you like a little section right here.
Think of the things that I'll do to you. Things that I'll do to you. You got me high, higher than the mountaintop. You got me flying tonight.
The biggest difference definitely is like the transition. It's way less smooth. It's just like a drum fill kind of loop that I dragged in there. And as you can see and hear, like the drop, the one with the trumpet, has the full vocal on it. And it just doesn't work. It's too much. It's like two main elements fighting. You have like the trumpet sound and the vocal. It just doesn't work. So later on, I like cut out certain parts of the vocal to make like little here and there ad-libs that go on top of the drop. And of course the famous brass horn. It's a horn section in staccato mixed with a full brass sound. One of them is with the sampler by Logic. I actually made it with the old one, but it got updated. And the second one as well. And they both sound kind of a little cheap, but kind of also the sound I was going for, and it works at the end. And then very simple, a little bit of like EQing, just getting rid of the low frequencies, a tiny bit of compression, not a whole lot needed, because that's actually like a sampled instrument, and then reverb. As almost always, the Valhalla Vintage verb with 2 seconds. And that was then basically it. Like the first rough idea, the drums very loose. Also the bass, basic, boring. Made with serum. Just like high cut, low cut. Not even sidechaining, nothing. Like this is just like a very fast sketch, a draft to like prove yourself and everyone else involved in the project that this could actually sound like something and could actually work. And then you send it back to the singer, back to the management, you listen to it yourself a couple of times, and once everyone kind of likes it, jams with it, flows with it, then comes the time where you actually start with full, very detailed production to getting to the point where you finish the song. since I work with vocals more and more, this in-between step is actually always involved. So let's close this project and open the final one that includes the real song. So way more plugins, a lot more. We're here at 74 tracks, and yeah, it looks a little messy because most of it is bounced out stuff of the previous project. And then I of course added more, but let's really quick loop out the section and solo through the elements. I think this entire section up to the kick is just vocal.
Things that I'll do to you. Things that I'll do to you. Higher and it don't stop, baby. Think of the things that I'll do to you. Things that I'll do to you.
Here, different layers with like backings and main vocals, some ad-libs left and rights. The usual stuff I've used on the main vocal. A little bit of neutron, just slapped it on there. Went through a couple of presets, dialed in or down certain things. For example, the exciter is dialed down by 50%. And let's maybe listen to that one solo, unprocessed and processed.
Tonight, you got me high, higher and it don't stop, baby. Think of the things that I'll do to you.
And you can hear it already sounds good. She's like delivering a really, really good performance. Singing is good. The recording itself is good. So you just add a hint of effects and it works.
Tonight, you got me high, higher and it don't stop, baby. Think of the things that I'll do to you. Things that I'll do to you.
And then usually like the bass is really important. This one right here is a little weird, complex, something I usually wouldn't do, but it consists of a bunch of stuff. So we have actually two very subby bass lines. One is more sustained, the other one less. And I don't know, like both together play a little different, but together it sounds like one and it kind of works. I tried out because mixing wise it's a lot easier just to have one low bass, but it just felt like there's something missing in the groove, so both stayed. And then of course those brass really wide, not a lot of processing. I used Shaperbox for the side chaining and then 2 EQs. Then we got the brass section again. That's the one bounced out of the previous project. And I think I layered it here with another layer playing the same stuff, and I think this time it was the Contact brass library, just to make it a little more real. And then subtle things in the background, little melody bits here and there. The guitar in the verse and pre-chorus. That one was also processed in an entirely different project. But usually guitar rig, a little bit of reverb, and you're good to go. Let's see, drums is maybe something that is interesting for you as well. The kick I really like, very punchy, deep, clubby, but still works with this poppy influenced song. It was actually made with kick 2, just like went through presets and then tweaked it a lot more to make sure it fits to the song, fits into the frequency spot that I gave it. We got a top kick that sounds way more real. And then the snare was actually also done with kick 2 with a little bit of EQing, and very important, finding the right reverb timing. I don't know, whenever I do these videos, I always feel like it's boring and not interesting, and I didn't do enough to every little stem, so I can show you some fancy stuff, like I use this plugin here and dialed in that and then. But it's usually just like a little bit of EQing, sometimes compression if needed, reverbs are very important, and then it's about like the balance in musical terms speaking. So it needs to fit musically together, and then also mixing wise, which is like frequency mushing together. Like for example, if the vocal has a lot of mid frequencies, it doesn't make sense to play the brass at the same time full on. It's just clashing. There's not even a way to really separate the mixing wise. It's better just to not let them play at the same time. In the last chorus, we of course have a lot more stuff going on, like a counter melody for the brass. It's just like to emphasize the end of the song and make it like even bigger, denser. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like the drums pretty minimal but solid, I think. The brass sound is maybe the most different to any other kind of song that I ever made. The vocals are spot on, the mixing of it was pretty easy. So yeah, actually, like when it's done and in front of you, a pretty simple song, but getting there to that simple solution took me a while. A lot of back and forth at the end, almost like 3/4 of a year. Of course not like full-time working just on this song, but resting for a month, do something else, come back to it. So a lot of back and forth, but I'm happy with the result, very happy. Maybe some remixes in the future, maybe a remix contest. I'll have to talk to the label about that. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions about the project, what was done how and with what, let me know. If you want to listen to the entire song fully, it's also linked down below in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you tomorrow, back again, making new music.
Think of the things that I'll do to you. Things that I'll do to you.